Good morning. Today is Friday. It is the 23rd day of Shevat. We begin today chapter 27 in Tanya. And here the Alter Rebbe is discussing how to deal with sinful thoughts. The Alter Rebbe was talking about the simcha. Without simcha, without happiness, it's very difficult to go through. It's almost impossible to do the right thing if a person is sluggish, sad, down. We need to have the simcha. And Alter Rebbe was talking in the previous chapters how to deal with sadness that comes as a result of misfortune, physical, financial, and then what happens, how to deal with spiritual worries of the sins of the past. And Alter Rebbe says that this is all that dealing, it's from the Yetzer Hara. It comes from the evil inclination, that he wants to bring the person down. So what do you do? When he's talking about if the thoughts comes in the middle of prayer and study, obviously that is the Yetzer Hara wants to try to stop you. But if the thoughts of sadness for the past comes in the middle of the day, as the Alter Rebbe, you have to tell the thoughts, this is not the time. You have to have a special time to deal with the past and how to correct them. But it should not allow you to disturb your service of Hashem. It should not you shouldn't let it bring you down. You should constantly be besimcha. And today, the Alter Rebbe is talking about a different situation that also may lead the person to bring him down. And that is, when a person says to himself, what's the point? I'm working so hard. I want to be nice. I want to be good. I want to be pure. I want to be connected with God. And then thoughts come to my mind, not good thoughts, sinful thoughts. Thoughts is indeed something that can distract a person from the right thing. The thought itself obviously is not a good thing to have the evil thoughts, the bad thoughts. And we're not talking about a person who is really thinking actively about these things, because this is something that is in the control of a person. The thought, as the Alter Rebbe discussed in different chapters, that our thoughts is in our control. Everything is in our control. If you can control your thought and direct your thought to think about something positive instead of something negative. But that's not the point. This is something that you can work. The point is that he's dealing here with is the fact that the thought enters your mind in the first place. And sometimes it keeps coming again and again and again. Yes, you have to push it off. But this fact that you have constantly thoughts that are not good may bring the person down and say, what's the point? I'm trying and trying, and still I get those bad thoughts. Comes the Alter Rebbe and telling us in this chapter that you should know these thoughts that you have is something that Hashem gives you an opportunity to fight and to gain more mitzvahs. And he explains that just like you connect with God when you do a mitzvah, you put on tefillin, you give tzedakah, you do something positive, you connect with God and brings you up. The same way, says the Alter Rebbe, if you have a thought and you push it away, you just now had a mitzvah. You wanted to think about something and you pushed it away. You're now connected with Hashem. So let's see how the Alter Rebbe says it inside. Now, if, however, the sadness doesn't stem from anxiety over sins that he has committed in the past, but rather from the fact that sinful thoughts and desires enter his mind. And that's bothers him. Says the Alter Rebbe, let's analyze it. When is this coming? It could come if it's coming in middle of doing mundane things, your business, your work, whatever you do, or does it come in middle of prayer, in middle of studying Torah? So the Alter Rebbe begins with the first case. It comes in the middle of work. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Inei im noifleis loy shaloi b'shas ha'avoda." If those thoughts occur to him not during his service of God, elo be'eis oskoi be'asoko v'derech eretz v'kai gaver. But while he's occupied with his own affairs and with his mundane matters and the like, says the Alter Rebbe, then why be sad? On the contrary, be happy. Why be happy? Says the Alter Rebbe, Adrabe, yesh lo lismoyach bechelkoi. He should, on the contrary, be happy in his lot. She'av shen lo yiflois lo b'machshavtoi u'mesiach taita mehen. For although these sinful thoughts enter his mind, he averts his attention from them. You're able to push it away. And what happens? You just fulfilled amazing mitzvah. What is the mitzvah? We say it every day when we say the Shema. Lekayem asher nemar. He fulfills the injunction that it says in the Torah. V'loi sasuru acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem asher atem zoinim achareim. You shall not follow after your heart and after your eyes, by which you go astray. There's the Alter Rebbe, this pasuk, this verse, this injunction, the Torah talks to whom? The Torah is not talking to righteous people, to tzaddikim. Ve'ein hakosov medaber v'tzaddikim lekoram zoinim chas v'shalom. The above verse surely doesn't speak to tzaddikim. It doesn't speak of tzaddikim, people who have no evil inclination. Referring to them as, God forbid, as going astray. A tzaddik doesn't go astray. A tzaddik doesn't have evil thoughts. It doesn't even enter his mind. We're talking, Ella, who is the Torah talking about? The Torah is talking of a regular, average person. Ella bebeinanim kayotzebai. He's talking about a beinanim like himself. Shenoiflim lo hirurei niyuf b'machshavtai. In whose mind they do enter erotic thoughts, whether of innocent nature or otherwise. And the thoughts, by the way, is a very strange thing, very serious thing. Some people will say, I'm only thinking, I'm not doing anything. No, having the clear thoughts is very important, because the thoughts has a very deep impression and connection with your soul. So that's why the thoughts has to be clean. So we're talking about a person, a Beinani, who does have those thoughts. And so when it comes to thought, the first thought is not in your control. So the thought enters the mind. The second thought is in your control. Right after the thought enters your mind, you can right away get yourself together and push it away. And when you push it away, you just fulfilled an amazing mitzvah. And when he averts his mind from them, he fulfills this injunction. Our sages of blessed memory have said, Yoshav v'lo yovar aveira, noisnim lo yischak ilos mitzvah. When one passively refrains from sin, he is rewarded as though he had actively performed the mitzvah. Ve'al kein, and therefore tzorich lismoyach bekiyum alav kemoi bekiyum mitzvah sasei mamash. Consequently, he should rejoice in his compliance with the injunction, just as he does when performing an actual positive precept. When you perform a mitzvah, you're happy, you're joyful, you're able to connect to God with the mitzvah. put in tefillin, you shake the lulav, you eat the matzah. Every mitzvah you do, you connect with Hashem. And here too, you connect with Hashem by pushing away the thoughts. And Alter Rebbe says not only that, Alter Rebbe says more so. If you would be sad, says the Alter Rebbe, if you would be sad by the fact, how come I have those thoughts, says the Alter Rebbe, that really shows a level of arrogance. Because who do you think you are expecting not to have any evil thoughts? You think you're a tzaddik? You think you're a person who's very high, holy, spiritual level? So yes, it could be a person who is working on his every day, on his thoughts, and he's doing elder mitzvahs. But you're still a Beinoni. You're still a human being. And if you're a human being, you're not a tzaddik. Why are you getting upset? Why are you getting sad that you have those thoughts? As if you think of yourself as a big level, says that, but that's gases ruach. That is arrogance. Know who you are. You're human. You have the thoughts. And by fighting those thoughts, it is considered as if you're actually doing a mitzvah every time. That's what Alter Rebbe continues. On the contrary, such sadness is due to conceit. For he doesn't know his place. And that is why he's distressed, because he's not attained the level of a tzaddik. Because it is true to whom a tzaddik doesn't have those foolish thoughts, evil thoughts in his mind. It doesn't occur to a tzaddik. And the fact that you're sad that you have these thoughts is because you're thinking that you are a tzaddik, which you're not. For worry to recognize his station. That he's very far from the rank of a tzaddik. It would be great if it would be a beinoni, it would be an average person. What is an average person? That controls his thoughts. And not being a wicked person, not being a rasha, not even one moment. That would be a great thing. Then surely this is the due measure of the beinonim and the task. What is the task? To subdue the evil impulse and the thoughts that come up rises from the heart to the brain. And to completely avert his mind from it. And to push it away with both hands. As soon as the thought comes, just push it away. As mentioned above. Says the Alter Rebbe, what happens when you do push it away? Every time you do it, you create tremendous joy and tremendous light in the upper levels and tremendous pleasure to Hashem. And every repulsion of these thoughts from his mind is kafya sitra achra lasata. The sitra achra, the evil inclination, is suppressed here below. It's another knock to the sitra achra, the evil. Every time you bend you control your desires, you control your thoughts. The sitra achra above also, in the supernal worlds, the root of the sitra achra, the root of the evil in this world that has spiritual roots up there, is also subdued, which shows like an eagle. The evil soars like an eagle every time it's being bumped up through the sins But every time you break yourself, it suppresses the evil and suppresses the source, the root of the evil. The Kaim Asher Nemar, and thus realizing the verse that it says, Im Tagbia Kanesha V'Geim Meshom Ritchenu Hashem. Though you soar aloft like an eagle, I will yet bring you down from there, says God. Indeed, the Zohar in Parshas Truma, page 128, says, he extols about the Begoidel Nachas Ruach Lefonov Izborech Kadiskafia Sitra Achel Satra. Talks about amazingly about the divine satisfaction that occurs when the Sitra Achra is subdued here below. This causes a tremendous satisfaction by Hashem. The Istala Kiakoro the Kucha Brichula Eila Al Kula, because thereby God's glory rises above all. Yoisir Mishvacha Achera, more than any other praise. Vistarkusa do Yatamekula. And this ascent is greater than all else, etc. That the fact that when a person breaks the evil, breaks his inclination, that causes the great satisfaction, a great ascent, a great revelation, more than any other praise that you can praise Hashem. There's the famous story with the two brothers, Rabbi Zusha and Rabbi Elimelech, when they were caught up in a situation that they were in a bar and there was a police raid and they arrested everybody in the bar, in an inn, whatever. So they ended up in prison. And in prison they were very sad. Why? Because these people were constantly doing good things, constantly studying Torah, praying and so on. And in that prison cell where they were was a bucket with, human waste. And when there's a place like this, you're not allowed to study Torah and you're not allowed to pray. So they were very sad. And then one brother says to the other, wait a second, why are we sad? He said, no, the same God that commanded us to study Torah, to pray, he also commanded us that when there is a bucket of waste, you should not do it. So by not studying Torah, we are now performing a mitzvah. He says, yes, wow, you're right. So they became very happy. They became so happy they started dancing. When the prison guards saw them dancing, they asked the people, what's going on? Why are you so happy? So they pointed on the bucket of waste, that makes them happy. So they took away the bucket of waste. But in any case, the point of the story is that that's what the Alter Rebbe said in this chapter, that every time doing a mitzvah is not only when you're studying Torah, when you're doing the positive, but every time you avoid from a negative thing. If you don't study Torah because of this is this situation. Obviously, it's a little different than our scenario. We're talking about dealing with our daily struggles of thoughts. And as Alter Rebbe will continue tomorrow, that this is sometimes you shouldn't be upset, shouldn't be down because of the fact that this is something that is no end. You don't see an end to the war. You expect, wait a second, now I became closer to Judaism. I started doing the mitzvahs. I want to experience something, on a higher level. I want to feel godliness. I don't want to deal with this nonsense anymore. What's the point? Says the Alter Rebbe, how beautiful, how valued this is by God. The fact that you are fighting the evil inclination. And perhaps you were created for this purpose and the whole life you're going to have to do it. So every little win, every little time you overcame the Yetzer Hara, it's a big win. Yes, we fall from time to time. We get up back on the horse and we continue to ride and continue to win our little victories until together, collectively we'll win the big win, the coming of Mashiach. So thank you for joining us. Any questions? We can take another question. Make sure to share this, and also, God willing, on Sunday, being that we have Metz Hashem the Bris, Sunday morning of my grandson. So Sunday we will have the class at 12 p.m. Sunday 12 p.m. Bezrat Hashem. All the best and have a good Shabbos.